Check, check. Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? Hip Hop Mike still live from the crib, but the clock is ticking. And I know one day we are going to get out of here and be out in the world, in the universe, enjoying ourselves. But while we are here, I've been doing these interviews on Zoom, and I have a special guest today, straight out of Brooklyn, doing her thing.
Hey.
Azia is in the building. What's up?
Good. What's good? You already know it's your girl, Azia, BK's finest. How you doing?
See, now I know what y'all thinking. You just popped in. You see she got all the clothes. You got the flyest hat ever. We talked about it a little bit off air, but she's an artist and I'm assuming a fashionista of some sort. Are you just into fashion as you are music?
Yes. I used to be a stylist. I used to do scene set design, creative direction, stuff like that. But I genuinely just love clothes. I love clothes. I love making clothes. I make costumes. I make a whole bunch of stuff. This is not even all my stuff. So like once I did the show, I moved back in with my people. So no one knew where I lived because like where I lived was on the show.
Okay.
I moved and I've had like stalkers and stuff before, so I needed to move. I moved and I didn't even bring everything here. I got rid of a lot of stuff and I plan on moving again. So next time I'll show you like for real Wagwan.
Yeah, well, once things open up, we'll do like some MTV Cribs maybe interview,
Right.
the whole drip report and all that.
Definitely.
I could tell though that you was into fashion because I know mad people that I interview, they come on and they got all these designer brands. And I know that the real people that's into fashion is like, they know exactly what pieces to complement with what and keep everything smooth.
Exactly. It's not about the designer brands. It's more about the aesthetic, the style, the texture, just the flavor, the drip. The brands don't give you the drip. The brands make you basic, for real.
Well
That's
said.
what everybody does.
Well, I mean, I first became aware of you seeing you fly as hell in an ice cream truck of all places with your long hair waving outside the window. But clearly that's more recent. I'm not super familiar with where this started. I know you said you was a stylist, but if it's cool with you, let's take it back to the beginning of where you started getting into entertaining and fashion and all of this.
So my parents, well, my dad, not my parents. My dad's a producer, so I always was like around music, around artists. I grew up basically in the studio. His first studio was in the crib in the 90s. You already know how that goes. And that's where I was really introduced to music and just understanding, even subconsciously, like a love for music and learning different sounds and just an array of different music. I've always been really creative. So growing up, I was in like, fashion shows, modeling. My community service always had something to do with fashion and sewing, learning how to sew. I used to take jeans, rip them up and make bags and sell them. So like I've always been into fashion or just cool different things. Most of the things I like, I don't really see people with. I like one of one things, which is why I wanted to learn how to make clothes, learn how to make costumes, learn how to make bras. So that way, whatever I'm thinking, it won't take me a week or a month to look for. I could just whip it up and make it myself.
That's it. When you was making jeans and all, was you hustling then too? Was you selling these jean bags or?
I was selling these bags, $60. I was ripping up jeans and making little crossbody bags, carrying my books in them. Yes.
Finessing.
Yeah, for real.
So it sounds like even early on, it was just something that came natural to you. This wasn't like necessarily like a goal, but more a lifestyle.
Correct. Yeah, definitely correct. My mom is very fashionable. I used to love watching them get dressed. My mom really liked a lot of black. She used to cut up her tights, wear ripped tights all the way up, cut up shirts. So yeah, it's just something that's a part of me for real. Just being creative culturally. My parents are West Indian, so like a lot of West Indians make their own clothes. My great grandmother, which I didn't even know, I found out more recently talking to my grandmother. I talk to my grandparents all the time, like just to soak up whatever I could get,
It's important.
Yeah, she told me that my great grandmother made clothes. So I actually remind her, she's like, yo, you remind me of your great grandmother so much you don't even know. Like she made clothes, love jewelry, love like, just going out, doing the most. And
blood, it's in the bloodline.
Facts.
Do you remember when you first started taking this, like, or I guess considering it as like a career? Because I know a lot of people, they go to school, and as much as even parents that's creative, they're like, you got to go to college and get a degree. And it's like, some people, they get more creative. Did you go to school, and was this always the career?
So no, my dad didn't want me to do music. I was on a path to become a lawyer. So smart. And I probably didn't fully decide to commit my whole entire life to this up until 2 years ago, which was like right before, actually, yeah, maybe like 2 years ago, right before I got on the show, right before I did the even audition to be on the show. I consciously made the decision, like, okay, this is it. This is what I'm gonna do for life. I was doing music before then, but you know, you got one foot in, one foot out. You trying to figure it out. I made the full conscious decision about 2 years ago, and then a couple months later, I got asked to do the casting for the show. I dropped my first EP, and everything just kept propelling from there.
So, I mean, to get on a show like this, as somebody that's going to school, potentially being a lawyer and doing this.
I graduated from school.
Oh, so you a lawyer?
No. So I'm not. I graduated from undergrad.
Okay,
so I didn't
okay.
Yeah, that's where I stopped. I stopped right after undergrad.
You woke up. There you go. Well, I went to pharmacy.
I'm still gonna be a lawyer. I'll probably be going to school once I have kids. When my kids start going to school, I'll go back to school and become a lawyer. It's more of a personal goal now. It's not like a fulfillment thing. It's more like, I always said I was gonna be a lawyer. I'm gonna be a lawyer.
I love it. Well, being a lawyer comes in handy with anything, like, for sure.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Before I did radio, I was in like pharmacy school. I was going to Brooklyn College, like trying to finesse it. And like, I was doing pretty well, but then when an opportunity comes up, you got to jump on it.
Yeah.
So how do you get in tune, I guess, with whoever the producer, the casting for this show was? Like, what was that about?
Instagram. I didn't get in tune. I just would stay true to who I was, worked hard, prayed, you know what I'm saying? I manifested it, what I wanted to do. Somebody slid in my DMs, and that was it.
Wait a second. So you on the gram, you're posting that you're doing fashion, you dabbling in the music, you going to school too, and
I'm posting everything. So I posted, of course, that I was in school. I was bartending. I had just quit bartending at the time. I just posted my, my EP. I dropped my EP in February. I got asked to audition for this show in March, April.
Wow.
Yeah, I just was posting me. I just was doing me. It wasn't strategic. I honestly was just being true to myself. And I think that's like one of the coolest things about me, especially when people get to meet me. It's like, dang, you're a breath of fresh air. Like, you really just being you. And it's like, yeah, I really am just being me. It's no gimmick. It's no crazy thought out strategy. All of the strategies for the most part come from me. Or they're like my ideas. And it's like how I want this to come, or how I want people to feel. I want people to feel what I feel. So like, I always try to keep that genuine feeling, that genuine vibe. I'm just me.
I love it. I mean, that's the most important thing. Like, I be telling people all the time, like, so many people put all this work into like, I got my numbers a certain way, or I got to do this. And I'm like, everybody has a gift that they can share with the world. And if you just spend time trying to tap into that and evolve as a person, whatever's meant for you will choose you.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And it sounds like that's what happened. This whole situation chose you.
That's exactly what happened. It was so bugged out because that was one of the questions that we kept asking the producers, like, how did y'all choose us? Like, how did you choose me? And they were like, yo, we were doing research for a long time, watching people for a long time. And then when the time permitted, it was like, boom, okay, cool. Let's hit this person up and see like what they're about. Let's see if we really like them. And I just kept making it to the next level. It was like a video game. Like, okay, did my Skype interview, did another Skype interview, did another interview, did my in-person interview. And then the last phone call was like, hey, like, not only are you a part of the show, you're like one of the main cast members. We're going to center a lot of it around you. Mind you, when I was doing the show, I had a boyfriend, right? He was supposed to be on the show with me.
Oh my
and
gosh.
we were in the process of breaking up. So I was like, damn, they're not going to want me for the show. And I was so scared to tell him. And I just prayed on it. And I was just like, God, like, if it's for me, it's going to be for me regardless. But like, I can't do it with this nigga no more. Like, I just can't. I'm trying. And I was trying to be a good person too, because I wanted him to be able to, I didn't feel like he was a bad person. I just felt like he wasn't my person. So I didn't want to mess up an opportunity for him. Like, he was about to be able to do something because of me. And yo, God reworked the whole thing. And I was like, oh, it's cool. We don't need him. We just wanted you anyway. So like, don't trip. We still want you. We're going to include your dad. Your dad's going to get to be on the show with you, working with your dad. So my dad's one of my producers. So like, it's super just like
amazing.
Yeah, it just unfolded.
What was that feeling like going through that process of all the Skype interviews and like going back and forth? I mean, even the first initial like reach out, were you nervous at all, or were you more excited? Was this something that you hesitated about?
Very secretive. This wasn't my first time doing any auditions or stuff like that for shows. I just don't think that I had the right energies around me during the time of those processes before then. And I'm super thankful that this was my first time being on international TV because it was in over like 90 countries. So I was super thankful that it happened for me this way, especially for the first time. But it was just secretive. I just kept it to myself. I didn't tell nobody. I didn't tell my parents until I was like almost way at the end. I didn't tell anyone that knew was the nigga that was living with me at the time. And he didn't even know when I first started. Like I did a couple interviews before I even told him. And I only told him because they asked me if I was in a relationship. If they didn't ask that, I probably wouldn't have told. But I wanted to just keep it so pure, and like I wanted the opportunity to manifest through my energy, not anyone else's. I didn't want anyone to be like, oh, you shouldn't do it, or tell me something that make me scared, or tell me something that make me act different. You know, I didn't want any other influences on any part of the process. I wanted it to solely be me. Like, so if I didn't get it, it was like I just didn't get it. Not like somebody hit me up like, oh, you need to be extra ghetto. And then I go in an interview and I'm trying to act like fucking Cardi B or some shit. And it's like, oh, she's not authentic. You know, like, and that's what people do to you. Oh, you need to be like this. You need to be like this. You need to be like this. Never been nowhere, but they're telling you everything you need to do.
Exactly.
So I just wanted to, you know, keep it true to myself. So I didn't tell nobody until it was like right at the end. And I knew I got it.
Amazing. Nah, I feel all of that because I know, like, I describe it like a lot of people will open up tabs on your computer, and next thing you know, your computer fitting to crash. It's like,
right.
And you know, the same energy you trying to put out, which has positive intention, which is something that you get excited about, that you could pray on and manifest. You know, once a lot of people get a hold of that, there's a lot of hate that they can put out in that air, a lot of bad energy, and sometimes getting mixed up in that, even if it's quiet, will just throw everything off. So, I think you did the right thing.
Thank you.
Musically, how does life change before and after the show? Like, I mean, you had some stuff out. Were people receiving it already? I guess on like the community level, like people that were around you and tuned in.
So I'm super Brooklyn girl. I know a lot of people like where I'm
Where'd you
from.
go to school, by the way?
I went to Wingate. So I went to the high school public service, but it's inside Wingate. I went to Lefferts Junior High School. I went to 61. I used to be in a group called Superfly Ladies. So we used to throw team parties and stuff like that. So like I used to host Flex in Brooklyn. So like I'm super like Brooklyn girl for real, like nostalgia. She's a Brooklyn girl.
I love it.
So
I went to PTA, so I get the vibes. Like everybody, you know, this it's the energy.
Exactly.
My
so
fault.
no, it's cool. So with the music, people were taking my music seriously, but it was more like a Azia does everything. Like what can't she do? You know, it wasn't going where I wanted it to go. I don't feel like people were really taking me serious. I feel like it was like okay, she creative. Like, yeah, she dope. She a dope girl, but they wasn't like really like getting it. And I was bartending at the time too. So me bartending, they really like, oh, okay, yeah, your song is fly. I need 30 bottles. Like, what we doing tonight? I'm like, oh, I'm trying to take you out on a date. They wasn't really like respecting the creativity and they weren't really looking for that. It was just like I was another pretty girl from the hood that's dope. And they like, she dope. She been dope. She been dope the whole time I knew her. Like, she cool. You know, it wasn't really a surprise. When I got the show, they was like, oh shit, I always knew she was dope. I knew she was, you know, those come.
I told you.
I told you. I always told you that. So it's crazy. Some people did tell me though. There was people that I was meeting along the way of like, even right before I did the show, it was a lady who did my lashes. And she was like, I had a dream about you. And I saw your name on big lights, like everywhere in the city. And like, yo, I got this, like, we have billboards and everything. So like people be knowing, but you know, you just gotta let the universe do its thing. But after the show, people started taking me more serious. It definitely put respect on my artistry as an artist, not just a dope girl from Brooklyn, but like it really gave me that, you know, that the respect that I needed.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people they need that like validation from some big company or from some big situation before they really tune in. But I think it's good that you kind of knew where you wanted to go with it.
Yeah.
Being honest with yourself, do you feel like before this you were kind of a jack of all trades, master of none, or did you feel like music was something that you were adamant about mastering no matter what?
So I'm a new school girl. Old school people always telling you got to do one thing. That's a lie. So every kid that I've ever mentored, anyone that I ever talked to, that's not true. You have to know you have to be multifaceted in 2020. You cannot rely on one stream of income. You will be broke. They
Mm.
always tell you, oh, when you grow up, get a good job. You can't even survive in a household with just one good income. That's why they say you need two people in a household. You need two incomes. So no, one thing is not the vibe. One thing is not the vibe. I'll never just be that one dimensional girl. That will never be me. Never, 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 never. So I feel like I don't feel like I'm a jack of all trades. I feel like I'm willing to try anything. But if I don't like it, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing stuff just because like you tell me it's a good idea. Like if I don't like doing it or I don't know how to do it, I'm good off that. But if I know how to do it, I'm going to do it. And a lot of that has to do with I don't like when people try to play me. And one,
You
I'm a
from Brooklyn
female.
at the end of the day.
I don't like to get finessed. And one, I'm a female. I'm a Black female, and I'm a female in a male-dominated industry. So that's like triple finesse if nobody knows. So people try to play you all the time. So you might need something done, and they trying to jack up the price, and it's like, bro, I could do that myself. Stop playing with me, like for real. So that kind of cuts that a lot. Would I be able to do more if I just did one thing? Sure, but I would get less done because I only got this far doing all of those things, not just doing one.
Well, I think everything that you've mentioned you do like complements each other very well. Like, not for nothing. I mean, it was the same with me in the radio situation. People are like, how do you get on radio? How do you get on radio? I'm like, I was a barber. I don't work at the pharmacy. I sold mattresses. I did photography. And like, not for nothing, I really was able to build relationships with people, giving them haircuts that put me in these rooms. And nobody ever gives it credit. They like, yeah, I'm lit. I just do. But it's like, nah, a lot of those small hustles are why I think the visuals look the way they do, why the fashion and then the music, it just makes you such a cultured person when you're not tunnel vision, you know, in the beginning. You really are able to appreciate things.
Exactly. I'm stopping to smell the roses. That's what they tell you when you're young all the time. And you have to, you know, you got to be able to do all those things. And that's how you get the detail. You know, that's how you get the detail, just like you said. So yeah, imagine when I have $1 million budgets. I don't even have that yet. You feel what I'm saying? So like, and things being a movie. So like,
you're gonna spend half and invest the other half.
Hello, Brooklyn vibes. You know,
straight up. That's the real finesse.
You know.
So I feel like I know the answer to this next question I'm gonna ask you. My bad. My dog is just looking at me. Yeah, she's lit. I'm gonna play you this interview later. I was gonna ask you, and I feel like I know the answer. The visuals and everything. How much do you have like input, and are you adamant about like it being your way, or how much is it that like you try and find somebody who shares a vision and then work with them?
So it's so crazy. I was just talking about this with one of the people that's part of my team, and it was like, I'm not the girl that goes to people and I'm like, hey, can you work with me?
Okay.
Like I don't believe in doing that. I don't knock anyone who does do that. I think that, you know, closed mouths don't get fed, but I'm super spiritual in the sense of creativity and artistry. And I've tried it other people's ways, and I don't get the fulfillment that I want in the end. So I like to do it my way now. I have tried it other people's ways, but it just truthfully doesn't really work for me. I like when people approach me because I feel like the universe sent them. Like, you know, like we were supposed to work with each other. That's part one. Part two, most of the ideas start off as mine. And it's like I'm sharing a baby with someone. I won't say that the finished product always turns out to be mine, because I like to include people, you know, with the editing. I'm willing to take your ideas, or you put your sauce on top of it. But about 100%, 90% of, especially the visual stuff, 90% of the ideas start off as mine. And it's like, this is what I want this to look like. This is what I want people to feel when they see it. And this is how I think we should execute it. And then everything else is like sprinkles on top of creative people that the universe has brought to me, not me. Like, I don't go sourcing it out, because then people feel, I don't know, it's not approached the same. It's approached a little differently. You know, it's approached as a job. It's not approached as like, oh my God, I'm making this like creative art or passion.
It feels less natural for sure.
Yeah.
That's very like star like of you though, because I seen a Beyonce documentary one time. She literally was like sitting over the dude doing the edits on her video, and she like towards the end of it, she's like, "Get up, I'm gonna do the edits," and she literally sat down at the computer, did her own damn edits, and I think it says so much about her character because she's somebody who's been a star since early, you know what I mean? And you would think that like, all right, a lot of people that become stars that young, they don't take the time to learn the editing, to learn how to do these certain technical things and just completely relinquish over what they do, but then it never comes back as organic. So I give you a lot of credit because it's like not only are you just trying to do what your ideas are, but you also taking the time to learn and figure out how to actually execute on them in your way.
Every step of the process. I'm going to edit when we're done. Actually, when we're
All
done.
right. Let me know if you need me to send this to you. We can do all that now. But I was gonna ask you with the ice cream theme, right? Because I think I just seen that video is the latest one, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, it is.
Where does that idea come from? Because I feel like it's so unique. Like not a lot of people are thinking, especially females, they always want to kind of be sexy and in these like, and you in an ice cream truck, which is like as raw and rugged as it gets when it comes to being in the streets. Where does that come from, and what inspired that?
So for real, I like or I judge artists in different ways. So like a lot of the artists that I like, it's more so because I like who they are as a person, or it's something about what they're doing that stands out to me. So like, bad example to use, but I'm gonna use it. R. Kelly. R. Kelly stands out to me all the time.
All right.
Mostly
It's not
because
a bad example. Don't let his discretions mess up the creativity because that man is a genius when it comes to having visions.
100%. However, he's also
bad
sick.
guy. He's a bad guy.
He's a sick man.
Yeah.
But you know, and I don't want to offend anyone who's ever been abused in the process, because that's definitely not my goal. And I'm a woman first. So like, I'm a woman first, black second. So like, no, like he's sick. But he is a creative genius. And I really appreciate how with his creativity, he's very creative. So like if he's talking about his penis or his dick, it's like, oh, my remote control, or like my, you know, it's something else visual without just being nasty about it. So because the words in my song was nasty, I wanted visually to depict something else. So like, yeah, eat it up, but like I didn't want to have like a guy fake eating me out, or like sex, over sexualized video in terms of actually showing sexual things. I wanted it to be like eating ice cream, eating it up, or like I got different flavors. I'm really talking about I got different flavors of men and women, but I'm eating different flavors of ice cream. You know what I'm saying? Like milk, cream.
Nah,
I
I
wanted
got
to
you.
get really creative with the play, and I wanted it to be very flirty. And I pulled from two people specifically, like, you know, Little Kim when she did Eat It Up, which she got from a Tootsie commercial, but still I will give her credit to that though, because that's like what I didn't know about no Tootsie Roll commercial until I saw Eat It Up. How many licks does it take to get to the center, you know?
You clearly a student too. Like you clearly you a student of the game where you look up to certain people and could take things and then reinvent them in your own ways.
Yes, I'm forever a student. I'm always trying to learn. I'm a student of life, not even necessarily the game. So like, which is why creatively, damn, you're making me say it out loud, which I never said, but creatively, why I gravitate to some different artists, because it's like, it's more about what they're showing me in life versus what they're showing me in their artistry. So like, Little Kim is just like badass. She's just like a real bitch from Brooklyn. She's been through so much, and like what I get from her through life is that she prevails through everything. Like someone who, you know, has been, yo, that ringtone scares me every time.
I was like, you got a baby too? You doing
no
with the baby?
no. What you call it? She's been
That
through so
ringtone
much.
scared me.
No, it scared me. I thought it was a ghost the first time I heard it. I'm like, is there a ghost in here? I know we don't got no babies.
Baby ghost.
It kind of scared me. But she's someone that prevailed through so much. You know what I'm saying? She's been through like being insecure and like just so much examples of what the industry could do to a woman just to break you down, and her still be boss about it. You know, boss, honest, raw, like it is what it is, and sweet. She has a very good balance. And then I pulled from Wu-Tang. So, you know, they got the song Ice Cream when they were standing on the ice cream truck. Method Man was on the top. They got the shirts that say Wu-Tang. All the girls dance in different flavors. So I wanted to pull from those two things and still make it very flirty and sexy and freaky, but in a very Disney Channel kind of way.
I have to ask. I mean, I'm not sure if your dad produced that one, but how did
He
your dad feel about you with some of these lyrics? And I mean, have y'all worked together on some stuff where he was like, honey, you got chill.
Right,
If
yeah.
my daughter ever, if I was producing my daughter, she started winning the booth with them bars, I'd be like, go back
No.
to law school right now.
No, so it's so funny. My first song that I ever recorded, my dad is the first person who told me to curse in front of him, and like he
Okay.
wrote a song that had like kind of sexual lyrics, but in a very Disney Channel kind of way too. It was, you make my box go thump 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 thump. You make my box go thump thump thump. Yes, that was a pop song. And
I love it.
so like he's always been like, you know, it wasn't as raw as this, but it was, you know, along those lines. But when he heard this song, he just was cracking up. He could not stop laughing. He said, yo, you got really good and you are funny. Something's wrong with you, girl. He specifically asked me, like, yo, what's that line? You got a nigga from the Aspens. You gotta have the deep throat. He like to get his ass ate. What are you talking about, Azia? Oh, no. I'm like, nah, it's supposed to be one of those, like, what she said? So you're sick. But a 15-year-old produced this record though. He's 16 now. He's from the Bronx, moved to Virginia. He lives in Richmond now, and he produced. His name is Glizzy.
Love it.
Yeah, that was definitely girl.
Great name for right now, but
yeah. But it won't be too much of those eat it up kind of records. You know what I'm saying? Like I love what it did. I love what it's doing. I love how people are gravitating towards it. But I'm not like a sex worker.
No, I got you. I didn't see any OnlyFans links in your bio, so I figured you was more on the artistry than you was on the actually trying to sell it, like oversell it. I think that's a lot of people fall short with that, because there's a lot of women that I think they over sex themselves up, and I'm like, the song is great. Like, you ain't really have to do that. Like, you probably could have got more placements not doing that type stuff. But listen, to each his own. So, I mean, moving forward, what would you say is like success to you, like in a nutshell? Because I ask a lot of artists this and I get a lot of different answers. You know, success wise, I guess, where would you see yourself? Is it something tangible? I'm assuming it's more of a feeling for you, but you clear that up maybe.
Yeah, no worries. So it's tangible and feeling. I'm definitely an all or nothing kind of girl. I want everything. I'm super spiritual. I believe that God says that you can have all that you desire, all that the heart desires, and that's what I'm going for. I want everything. I want all the money. I want all the accolades. I want all the good vibes. I want to help as much people as I can. Well, not people. I want to help as much children, specifically children, that I can help. I want to be a household name. Well, I'm going to be a household name. That's truly like my biggest goal or accolade is I want to be a household name, and I want to be able to reach such a massive level of success that I'll be able to help as much children as I can.
Love it.
That is what success will be for me. Of course, I want Grammys, I want awards, I want all that. I want everyone to know, like, oh shit, this bitch is not playing. Like, he's here. Like, fuck you talking about? Fuck you mean? Yes.
Anybody that gets like,
I say that now, so who knows? I might get my first award and like get to a place where this industry is so sick and it's just like, bro, I'm gonna make money other ways. You know what I'm saying? So like, I'm also one of those people, like I told you before, I'm willing to try anything, but I gotta get there first, and I gotta get there and see how it feels to be there. And if I love it, we're gonna keep it pushing. If I don't love it, we're gonna still get to the end goal. We just gonna change the route a little bit. So
I love that you said that too, because I was gonna ask you when you was mentioning people like him and all. I know now, being, you know, having done a show and being around a lot of different celebrities and people, I think for me that was the toughest thing, is like growing up in the street, listening to hip hop, and then meeting certain people that weren't the same in person as I had assumed that they'd be through their music. So the fact that you mentioned that, you know, we gonna get there, and if it's not what we think it's gonna be, just switch up the direction is super important for people and artists alike to hear, because it applies to everything in life. A lot of people get into careers that they think, you know, this is for me, and then you figure it out, and don't ever be scared to change direction, I guess. Exactly. Is what I would say.
The end goal does not change, with the direction, the path, that changes all the time. So like, you never know. You never know.
Thanks. So that's incredible. I seen you just dropped a record also the other night. Scott asked me to be in the live, and I was running so late to get back to my computer. I'm sorry I missed you.
It's okay. It's okay.
But please tell people about the latest record and how they can check for all the stuff that's to come.
Yes. So I just dropped Eat It Up. We dropped the video, Eat It Up. It's on YouTube. Eat It Up is on all streaming platforms: Spotify, iTunes, Tidal, Google. What's the other one? Deezer. I don't even know if people use that. You feel me?
Everywhere.
But on all streaming platforms, it's everywhere. It's super lit. Very creative. It's such a vibe. It's a bop. It's sexy. It's raw. It's fierce. It's flirty. It's fun. And you can find it everywhere. Definitely check out my website too, which is IamAzia.com, IamAzia.com. And my Instagram is azia.iam. Follow me, shout me out, drop the song, throw some ice cream cones under my pictures, whatever you want to do, whatever you feel like doing, whatever moves you. I'm here for all of it.
I love it. I do have two more questions. I guess one question, one statement. Okay. But first question is, do you have merch of some sort? Because I feel like you're the ideal to have merch. Like,
I do have merch, and I just learned how to do some new edits. So I'm about to have some even more merch.
Love it.
You know, you gotta wait for people. You gotta just shut up and wait. But when you could do it, you can have different stuff every week. So yeah, and I do have merch. It's on my website, IamAzia.com. I have a makeup line called Brownies Couture, where it's nude shades for anyone with any type of pigment. It's eyeshadows and lip products, super bomb. I have an ebook coming out helping girls or men, who wants to start a business, or tips and tricks of like what I've learned thus far throughout my process, and basically shortcuts for them so they don't got to go through the same BS that I did, or learning how to edit or what apps I use, stuff like that. So yeah, I got a lot of cool stuff. I got an entertainment company called Our World ENT, where I have 5 artists now. Five.
All right. Working.
Mogul vibes, just baby steps.
And that's a perfect lead into what I'm about to say, because I know a lot of people that follow the show, that watch me, are like in the industry. And a lot of my friends after the interviews, because I'm kind of known for talking to people right before they blow, are going to ask me if you have a deal, if you sign, how can I get in touch with her? So, I mean, do you have a situation? Are you looking for anything? And if so, put it out there. Maybe somebody will reach out with some answers.
Yeah, definitely. So no, I'm not signed. I'm an independent artist. I have my independent label is more to like build, and other independent artists were like literally just starting out and kind of like getting their feet wet, figuring those things out. So I release all my music through United Masters. Sometimes DistroKid, depends on how I'm feeling or what record it is. But yeah, I'm an independent girl. I'm an independent gal. I have a bomb team of people that I work with in terms of like a PR agency, the Evo agency. They help with that. Shout out to them. My dad is my dad first, but then he's anything else, whatever else I need him to be. If I need him to wear a manager hat or a producer hat or a bodyguard hat, whatever I need him to do, he's down for. And then of course, visually, I have like different people that I work with, which I'm always open to working with new people. Whoever God brings my way, as long as it feels good, it's lit.
All right, you heard it yourself. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for taking the time today. I can't wait to drop this. I feel like there's so many gems in here.
Thank you.
But Brooklyn's own Azia in the building, the vibes. Thank you so much. We'll talk soon.
Ciao. Talk to you soon.
Ciao.